Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please raise your hand if you have a question for Coach. We'll go ahead and get started with Jeff Magliochetti.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for joining us. Sorry things didn't go your way out there today. My question for you is, you guys got off to that hot start in the first quarter. From there on out, what did Washington do differently from a coach's perspective?
Look, I think we hit them early, and they're a defensive team. They're a great defensive team, and they lifted up their energy. They were getting into our bodies and blowing stuff up, and it just took us out a little bit of rhythm. But look, I was proud that we sustained. We stayed together. I thought we competed better than what we had the last few games. But the result didn't go our way, so we just got to hang in there.
What was your message to the team in the locker room in the postmortem?
Basically about that. You know what I mean? You get be mad, disappointed, but it's more like at least we found the effort and we competed a little harder tonight. Okay, things aren't going our way. That's a really good team here, and we were right there at the end. The zone certainly helped us to get back into play, and we've got to limit just the areas, just execution. Now you can have the effort, but now you need the execution. Sometimes we're breaking down some of the stuff we asked them to do, like they just weren't on the same page, and but there are areas, it's just a little bit of mindset change, and we'll get them ready for the next game.
Appreciate your time and insight. Safe travels home.
Thanks, Jeff.
Howard.
Hi, Sandy. I'm curious, when you look at the standings and you look at the numbers, at what point does it start to become a question of each game being as close to a necessary win as possible? And do you start to talk about that with your team? Do you kind of approach it from a numerical perspective?
To be quite honest, Howard, it's more like, we just need to be playing well, and there's still a lot of games left. I said, we're playing a bit like May, basically. We're turning the ball over and doing some things there, but we're competing a little harder. We have that, and now we just have to learn how to win and get some confidence back. I think you see some players, this hit the wall a little bit, and we need our depth is that we need those players to come in and be big for us every single game. I think it certainly helps us. But for me, it's, I always go, hey, Phoenix, I've snuck into the playoffs. Right. It's sometimes, things don't go well. I think the hardest task is just trying to find, with people out, moving them around all this time. And I think it's hard in that, just trying to still get them into rhythm. But we still have in August, we've got teams we are competing for those spots who we will be playing. So we control our own destiny. So that's what I say. The next two games, Chicago, you have to go in thinking that you can win. This is the best team. We know we're capable of playing with them. So it's getting that confidence back and embracing the grind. I think there's no better thing as a professional athlete to know that we're still in it. We're not out of it, but it's up to us. And we're going to go against team that we're going to try and push out of the playoffs.
And just related to that, you talk about sneaking into the playoffs. It's a different format. And it's not a scenario where if you're the 8 seed, you got to go out on the road and win one and then go out on the road and win again. Do you feel like this format helps favor if you can sneak into the playoffs to be able to make more of a sustained run because you have the opportunity once you're there to play a 3-game set right away?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're finishing 8, you're playing the best team. I mean, but every game, you can beat anyone and you can lose against anyone. And for us, there's a fine line of margin, really, because, some other teams, they're healthier than us. They got a little bit more consistency. For us, if we get Benaja back, maybe that's what we need. Mm-hmm. We're getting, one of our best players back who's been out all season long, and everyone else is healthy. So, and it's unfair for her, but she's been out for a long time. So for me, you get to the playoffs and it's a new season now, and that just depends on how you play. But it's not over a series. They always say the best team wins, but we just want to get there and then see what happens.
Thanks, Sandy.
Jackie.
Hey, Sandy, thanks for being here. So it was really hard for us to know what went on in most of the second half. There were some broadcast issues. I was keeping up on courtside, but what I want to ask you here is, we couldn't really see the run in the fourth that got you all back into the game. So if you could explain to me how you felt like this team got back into the game a bit more generally, how do you think the ball was able to move during that run? And again, I was just following on live stats because Yes was having some issues.
Okay. Yeah, look, Jackie, to be quite honest, we came out, we've been asking them to move the ball quicker, play with a little bit more pace. We did that in the first quarter, a little the second. We didn't do that in the third. That's what dug us a hole.
Mhm.
We went back to no, we don't want to set up. We're too slow. We got to move the ball. We got to exploit their aggressiveness. But in the fourth, we went to a zone. And that's really, we got a zone. We got some turnovers in the zone. We were able to get out and run and transition. We made some shots. And really, that's it. Momentum can change. It's just because we changed how we play. We're playing defense because we had a hard time defending him one-on-one, and you'd low shot clock and then Atkins would drive and shoot it and make it and Deladon would drive. But, and it's just trusting the defense behind the ball. And sometimes we were there. They're just really good players making shots.
I appreciate that. And so when we were able to see the game at the end, there were a bunch of rushed threes that didn't fall, especially at the end. Is that a matter of getting a bit more poised in running the offense instead of just chucking up shots in the hope that something will fall?
Yeah, it is, and that's what we said, we just took some bad shots. We didn't need to take them, and that's just, a team trying to work out how it all works. Like, if you're a shooter, you're open, it's good. But we were just saying, let's just move the ball. Let's just keep moving the ball. Cause you would have seen Marine passed it out of action, the third side back to Tash on a roll. That's what we're doing. So we took some ill-advised shots. But that's what I'm talking about. A little execution, a little bit of the controllables that, that's on us. We've got to be better in those situations and know, you can't, I never want to take the confidence away from our players, but it's more they have to know the difference between a good and a bad shot.
Thank you so much, Sandy. I appreciate that.
Miles?
Hey, Sandy. Every player but Sammy had a turnover in today's contest. When it's not just one or two players making miscues, but everybody, is that an indication of a lack of rhythm or trust in one another?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a defense on what they did to us. I think Sub got caught too much getting deep in the paint and they just denied first passes out, which you're supposed to do. And, so we got to make quicker decisions. We got to make simple passes. A team that's as aggressive as that, I think we have to back cut more. So we're talking about, that's why we wanted the movement to try and exploit their aggressiveness in blowing stuff up off the ball. So yeah, I don't think it's a bit of trust, but it's more about just a little bit of execution. Like, don't fight pressure. We got to play smarter and a little bit more poised. And this is a team, still trying to work it out and how it all fits together. And a little bit more experience, I suppose. That's probably what we're missing in certain situations. But the last two games we've turned it over way too much and gave up too many points, easy points.
Thanks so much. Have a safe trip back.
Last, we'll go to Brian.
Hi, Sandy. For a lot of the night, you guys had success in the paint, except in the third quarter when you didn't take a shot at the rim. I know you've talked a lot about having 2 feet in the paint, and for the most part, do you think that the team will be able to be more aggressive in attacking the basket going forward?
Yeah, good point. Look, I suppose you can say we're not really built to break you down. And that's, Sub's probably our best one at getting into the paint at the moment. And we're just still trying to find ways where we can get into the paint and how it just flattens out the defense. When we did get in there, I thought we had really good success. You would have seen Semi late in the game. She got into the paint and got a wide open 3. So that's why we keep encouraging in that. So it's more about having an aggressive mentality and players, we got a lot of shooters. But sometimes they just need to get 2 feet in the paint because Washington rotate and scramble well. But yeah, can't change who we got. So we need to play it at what we have.
Thanks. And especially early on, Crystal really had the offense running well. What did you like that the team did at the beginning of the game with Crystal winning the point?
Pushed it. And that's what we've been asking, and push it and move it. And like Crystal, just telling her to be aggressive. She doesn't always have to be sub. That's in pick and rolls or Marine. We need her in the pick and rolls. And she made some really good decisions, passing the ball to the rollers. But it comes down to our post players. I didn't think we screened great because they went under a lot of our screens. But when we re-screened and we could roll, that's where we got to, get better. And in the end, we got tired, and it took away from us being able to sustain the pace.
Thanks, Andy. Safe travels home.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Next up, we'll have Natasha Howard and Marine Johannès. Over there.
Make sure.
All right, everyone's making their way to the room, and when they're ready, we'll get started with Jeff.
Jesus.
Jeff?
Thank you. Hello, both. Thank you for being here. Sorry it didn't go your way this morning. So my question is for both of you, whoever's comfortable answering it. So in the first quarter, you guys get off to that hot start. From a player's perspective, what did Washington do differently over the rest of the game that kind of threw you guys off rhythm a little bit?
They got more aggressive with their defense, and they was pushing us, making us uncomfortable on offense, and they were dictating where they wanted us to go, and instead of us dictating where we wanted to go. That's what they did. They just, got aggressive.
Natasha, this question is for you, considering you played with her last season. Coach Brondello said in her statements that this team really does miss Benajelani, and that her re-entry could really get this team going. From a player's perspective, what does Benajelani add to this roster it's missing right now?
Aggressive, heart, defensive mind. It's pretty much just everything overall that she does for us on offense and defense and stuff, and her voice too on the floor.
Appreciate that response. And Marine, I have one more question for you, final one from me. As someone who has kind of been a late entry into this lineup, how have you been working with your teammates right now? What's it been like trying to build with a different roster in nearly every game, it feels like? How have you kind of built that chemistry, and how have you kind of gotten things rolling? How have you gotten into a rhythm despite joining late with so many different rosters?
Yeah, I think I did a lot of film with the coaches, and the girls really are helpful on the court. We don't have a lot of practice because we play a lot, but I think it's kind of better now. I'm not like lost on the court because of the set plays, for example. But yeah, I think it's different now, and I feel more comfortable on the court.
Appreciate your time and insight, both of you. Safe travels home.
Thank you.
Howard?
Thank you both for the time. Natasha, just to start with you, you've been in scenarios where your teams get into the playoffs at the bottom of the bracket. You've been there where you've been at the top. Sandy was talking a little bit about how, at this point, the push is just to do that. I'm just wondering at this point in the season, how much you're looking at the standings, at the numbers, and how much you think this year's playoff scenario where everyone's sort of starting in a certain way on equal footing helps a team, even if you're 6, 7, 8.
Right now, I'm not even looking towards the standings or, the like I'm looking forward towards the playoffs and stuff like that. But right now we still in regular season games. Right now we just focus on game by game and stuff like that. We're not looking ahead. We just focusing on us getting better and also focusing on who we got next. We're not focusing on the long run.
And then, Marine, if I could ask as well, just how much are you looking forward to getting back to games starting at what's the phrase I should use, a normal time, and being able to have a day-to-day that's more typical with games in the evening or even in the afternoon?
Est-ce que je peux parler en français?
T'as besoin d'aide?
Oui, s'il te plaît.
Tac. Il demande comment hâtes-tu de retourner au match qui commence plus tard dans la journée comparé aux les derniers 3 matchs qui a commencé dans le matin?
Okay. Well, we don't have this overseas, like we don't play so early, but I think it's different here, and it's not like I don't like it, but it's different, and we have to adjust, wake up earlier, everything, be prepared like early. But I think the next game they are later during the day, so I think it can be like maybe better for us.
Thank you both. Safe travels.
Jackie?
Hey all, thanks for being here. So I wanted to ask both of you about a moment we saw on the broadcast, and I shout out Andrea Carter for pointing this out. So she made an observation about there was a turnover late in the game when you guys were trying to make the run, and Natasha, both you and Benaja, you went up to Marine to comfort her and just to sort of say, like, it's going to be okay. So can you explain that moment to me and tell me sort of what that says about this team and its principles as you guys move through this adversity?
One of our things that we go back on is sisterhood, and and I knew, like, Marine, was in her own head and stuff like that. And I told her, like, move on to the next play. You got it and stuff like that. Shake it off, because you're not the only one that's out there making mistakes and stuff like that. Like, just shake it off and just move on to the next play. So that's one thing I could, as a leader, even though, like, we're losing and stuff like that, I can still be that leader, talking to my teammates, like, come on, like, we still got it. Like, just move on to the next play and just keep playing. Don't get in your own head. Don't get in your own way.
I appreciate that. And Marine, for you, I guess, how does that make you feel to sort of know that you have this support on this team, after arriving later?
Yeah, well, I was talking with Tash like just before, and I think I was mad at myself, but it feels good to know that your teammates are with you and support you even if you don't make the right choice on the court. So yes, for sure, it's good for me, and I think we have to continue in this way, like being here for each other.
I really appreciate that. Now, a little bit about the game itself and just what this stretch has been like. I mean, how would you say, although you haven't won at all in the past 3 games, how would you say you guys maybe have improved since that first camp game in Vegas where, defense just wasn't there?
Good question. I feel like, what Coach Sandy said, that in the past 2 games that we had, these early games against Vegas and Connecticut, that we wasn't aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this game we was aggressive and we kept fighting and stuff like that until we can't fight no more. And that's one thing I could say from the past 3 games that we had, the camp games, that this game right here we fought and stuff and we didn't give up.
I really appreciate that. Last one for Marine, and then I'll let this go. So toward the end of the game, it looked like you sort of took it upon yourself to put some more pressure on the rim rather than just shooting outside shots. How moving forward is that something that, you'll focus on and you'll do?
Well, I think I just have to I don't know, I have to stop thinking I could just play with the flow of the game. Maybe I took an early shot at the end, and I did this turnover when I was mad at myself. But yeah, I think I have to play with confidence and with the flow. I think Tash and Sab are great leaders, and we have to understand that maybe it's time for them to show up, and we have to play more around them. And I think it can help them to stay aggressive outside. And yeah.
Thank you. Safe travels back.
So Miles, Brian, and Christos, we'll try our best to get to everyone.
Hi, Marine. I want to start with you. After the team made 3 of the first 4 3-point attempts, as a team, you made just 5 of 22 the rest of the way. Was that a case of an adjustment made defensively in-game by Washington, or an instance of missing looks that this team will typically make more reliably?
J'ai besoin d'aide.
Vers le début du match, l'équipe a fait 3 three-pointers, mais vers la fin, qu'est-ce que les Mystics ont changé, par exemple,
Well, I think
défense?
Yeah. Merci. Well, Tash said, I think they adjust at the end. The starting 5 really start they really played good, and it was 10-0, I think. Before the first time out. So I think they just adjust, and they were more aggressive in defense. And I think maybe we took some quick shot that we didn't have to take it. So yeah, we just have to continue to move the ball and play maybe longer in offense.
And Tosh, thank you, Marine. And Tosh, in the first half, the Mystics got back into the game and then out in front by pushing the ball in transition. So how, as a team, can you slow down an opponent that's trying to force the action and steal away momentum in a close game?
The guards get back. You gotta have 3 people back, especially with teams that actually get the ball from the rim and throw it up and push it up and stuff like that. We gotta at least get 3 people back, or everybody. Pretty much Sandy always say, get everybody back instead of trying to go for the rebound and stuff like that. People that normally rebound, and the people that don't rebound just get back. So Washington won't get easy buckets and stuff easy buckets, and that's one thing we could definitely work on even more, just getting back in transition and stuff.
Thank you both. Safe travels back.
Brian?
Hi guys, Brian Florenson from Nets Daily. Marine, my question is, you had a little bit more success today after recent struggles. How important is it for you just to maintain your confidence and sort of process and playing well, even when you're struggling in previous games?
Yeah, I think it was a little better today, but I still make some mistakes, and that's just when you're trying to do your best, maybe sometimes you think too much, and you have to stay confident, and I want to try to help the team as much as I can. So stay confident and stay aggressive on the court.
Thank you. And Natasha, when you guys made that big fourth quarter run to get back in the game, do you think that sort of energy and fight that you showed will be enough to sort of springboard for the rest of the season, as far as giving you guys confidence knowing that you can match up with elite teams like Washington?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one thing Bernard just said in the locker room after the game, that the way we play, we've got to kind of keep building and stuff. And we kind of keep building, and we could beat any team So that's one thing that we're gonna kind of like just build on from this game going into the Chicago game.
Thank you guys. Safe travels home.
We have time for one more from Christos. Christos?
Hello, ladies. Hope you're doing well. Natasha, question for you. Today, you had 15 turnovers in the game, 8 steals from the Mystics. What do you need to do to limit your turnovers and showing to your opponents that you want it more as the season goes on?
Well, we got to take care of the ball. That's one thing. We have to take care of the ball and get open, come to the ball and stuff like that. The little things that we can control and stuff. And when we do that, limit our turnover, have lower turnover than our opponents and stuff like that, we can come out winning games by 10, 15 points.
Thank you very much. And for you, Marine, what was the biggest progress on your game from day one in the team until now?
Well, I think now I know a little bit more about my teammates on the court. I know, like, when I first arrived, I didn't really know them, like, on the court. So I think it's getting better now with practices and the game. So, yep, that's it.
Merci beaucoup.
Great, thank you both for joining. We'll send a copy of the recording along with post-game notes shortly. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.